The August 5th, 2025 meeting to order at 6:05 PM. All council members are present except for Mayor Pro Tem Bearfield. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. The first item of business is to consider the minutes of June 6, 2025, special city council meeting, and the June 17th, 2025 regular city council meeting. These minutes were provided in your meeting packet. Are there any corrections? There are no corrections. The minutes stand as approved as submitted. The next item to consider are the proclamations, and we have two of them tonight, and the first one will be with Kenrich Williams, and I will meet you down here at the dais. Appreciate you. Our first, this is such a cool day. It's such an honor for me to be next to this guy right here. I mean, this is cool. We got a champion here right now, right here. Let's hear it. And Waco is the city of champions, we like to say, and thank you for representing this city so well. Congratulations on your championship. And Waco has been watching you for a long time as you've succeeded at University High. You've succeeded at Texas Christian University. You've succeeded in the NBA, and it was so much fun watching you going through the tournament and in the finals and beating the Pacers. It was fun watching you on TV. You have achieved a lot, and you're the best of the best. And we appreciate your commitment to hard work, to perseverance, and to excellence. And you're a great inspiration to all of us here in Waco. And I appreciate you, Kenrich. And you definitely exemplify the spirit of Waco. So, we're so happy when you come to Waco. We were talking a little bit ago about you come back and you give back to the community, which is really, really cool to see you nurture the kids in the city of Waco. And we love to have you back. Come back whenever you want to. And your beautiful family here in the front row, too. Fantastic. And your mother, who's a great voter as well. And we appreciate that. So, anyway, we will now, this is the first key I've given away, too. Oh, nice. So, this is like, so it's kind of a double deal here today. We have a Kenrich Williams Day, and we get the key too. So I'm going to read the proclamation first, and we'll present this here in 1 second. I, Jim Holmes, by the virtue of authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Waco, Texas, do hereby proclaim August 5th, 2005 as Kenrich Williams Day in the city of Waco. It's Kenrich Williams Day today. Let's hear it. Let's celebrate it. I urge all citizens to join the city council, city staff, and me in recognizing and honoring Kenrich Williams on becoming the first Wacoan to win an NBA championship. Kenrich Williams, born and raised in Waco, represents his hometown with perseverance, grit, and tireless work ethic. Affectionately known as Kenny Hustle, his relentless determination and commitment to excellence have been on display since his time playing for University High School Trojans, where he earned District Defensive Player of the Year honors. Williams made history as a TCU Horned Frog with record-setting performances and all Big 12 honors, culminating in the retirement of his number 34 jersey in 2024. In the NBA, he played for the New Orleans Pelicans before joining the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2020 and serving as an integral part of that championship team. Now, therefore, let it be known that Kenrich Williams is a world champion who exemplifies Waco's spirit of hustle, humility, and heart. And in testimony whereof, witness my hand and the seal of the city of Waco. Here is the proclamation right here. So, thank you very much for the proclamation. And more importantly, I got we got pictures going.
Let's come a little forward, and Toby's going to take pictures. Or Toby, go to him.
And Kenrich is going to say a few words. Wow, this is fantastic.
Let me lift the mic up a little bit. First of all, I want to thank God for this tremendous honor right here. I'd like to thank my family who kind of just stepped out, all my friends here today, and then lastly, I would like to thank the city of Waco for helping me with this and just giving me the key to the city. It really means a lot to me. You know, I try my hardest to come back and give back as much as I can, and for me to receive something like this is a true honor and a blessing. So thank you guys. Thank you.
One more picture. Okay. We have another proclamation today. And is Carolyn Bruich here? We are. Carolyn and Keisha Mays. Y'all need to come up. And Elsa Torres. Oh, all three are here. Fantastic. Okay, this proclamation is relative to, got to bring this mic back down, healthy infant development and raising healthy and thriving children. I appreciate all you guys do to make sure that is a high priority here in the city of Waco. So I, Jim Holmes, by virtue of the authority invested in me as mayor of the city of Waco, do hereby proclaim August 2025 as National Breastfeeding Month in the city of Waco. And we urge all citizens to join the city council, city staff, and me in recognizing that through a supportive and welcoming environment, our community can encourage the healthy development of all infants and families of all races, ethnicities, and family structures. Breastfeeding is a vital, evidence-based practice that protects the health of both infants and mothers, reducing the risk of numerous chronic and acute illnesses, and laying the groundwork for a lifetime of well-being. Breastfeeding nurtures a strong, lasting emotional bond between mother and child that benefits both well beyond infancy. The theme of the 2025 campaign is Nourish, Sustain, and Thrive. And it calls on communities to work together in promoting policies that prioritize breastfeeding as an essential component of public and family health. The Waco-McLennan County Public Health District, through its Women, Infants, and Children program, provides critical breastfeeding education, support, and resources to help new mothers meet the needs of their growing infants. This month serves to celebrate the efforts of organizations, advocates, and policymakers who work tirelessly to create a society that welcomes and empowers breastfeeding families. The city of Waco values its families and is committed to fostering a supportive community where all parents have the tools and encouragement they need to raise healthy, thriving children. And that's signed in testimony hereof, witness my hand and the seal of the city of Waco this 5th day of August, 2025, signed by all the council members right here. So congratulations. Please.
Mr. Mayor, council members, colleagues, and community members, it is with great honor that I accept the proclamation for National Breastfeeding Month. I am Carolyn Bruich, International Board Certified Lactation Consultant and Registered Nurse with the Women's, Infants, and Children Program. And this is Keisha and Elsa, who are our peer counselors at WIC, helping our breastfeeding moms as well. We appreciate the city's endorsement and support to the Health District's vision for our city and county to be a place where all its citizens play, live, and thrive. It's in this effort to ensure that the most vulnerable thrive. The local WIC agency and our community partners represented here work to provide nutrition and education and support for mothers and babies. Optimizing breastfeeding among our mothers and babies helps to reduce risk of chronic diseases, improve immunity, and provides the foundation for long, healthy lives. We do not do this work alone. It takes a small army, So I would like to acknowledge our community partners represented here today. Y'all want to stand up? These are all our ladies who work at the Health District. Finally, we would like to invite the community to our breastfeeding education fair that we will have on Friday, August 8th, this Friday, 9 to 3 at Cameron Park Clubhouse for our celebration for Breastfeeding Month. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for that. That was great. The next item to consider tonight is public hearing 2025-495. And who will, Galen Price, Director Price, you're going to handle that one. Thanks again, y'all, for coming.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. This is a public hearing to receive comments on the 2025-2026 Annual Action Plan prior to submission to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The City of Waco's Citizen Participation Plan requires that the city conduct a public hearing to receive comments on the 2025-2026 Annual Action Plan prior to submission to HUD. The Annual Action Plan includes a housing, homeless, and community development needs plan for addressing priority needs and the city's specific plans for the use and spending of the 2025-2026 Community Development Block Grant Funds and Home Investment Partnerships Program Funds. The plan was made available for the public's review from June 17th of 2025 through July 17th of 2025. Previously, a public hearing was held on June 17th at the City Council meeting, which occurred during a 30-day comment period. Hard copies were made available for the public's viewing in the City Secretary's office, the Housing Office, and the public libraries. The notice for this public hearing was published in the non-legal section of the Waco Tribune-Herald newspaper, posted on the city's website, posted at the city's libraries, and on the city's bulletin boards. There is a resolution on the agenda for your consideration tonight.
Thank you, Director Price. Are there any questions for staff? I will now open a public hearing for comments. Is anyone present who would like to speak regarding this item? Seeing no speakers, we will close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
How about a second?
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Reluctant here. Any discussion on this item? There being no discussion, City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano? Borderoud?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is public hearing 2025-496. Director Peters.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider a request for the withdrawal of an application for an ordinance changing the land use designation from urban residential to medium-density residential office flex and rezoning from R1B Single-Family Resident District to R3B Multi-Family Resident District on approximately 2.763 acres, described as Lot 59, Block 63, the Park Meadow South Phase 2 addition, located southwest of Ritchie Road and Warren Road intersection. If the request for the withdrawal is denied, then the council will conduct a public hearing on the land use and ordinance change. And staff does recommend approval of the withdrawal.
Are there any questions for Director Peters? There being none, we'll now open a public hearing for comments. Is there anyone present who'd like to speak regarding this item? I see no one wanting to speak. We will now close the public hearing. Is there a motion to approve the withdrawal?
Yes, Mayor, I move to approve the request to withdraw this item.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for withdrawal. Any further discussion? There being none, City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano?
Yes.
Borderoud?
Yes.
Ewing,
Yes.
Chase, Holmes.
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is public hearing 2025-497. Director Peters.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the city of Waco changing the street name for a portion of 42nd Street between Colcord Avenue and Bosque Boulevard in the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, to Lions Way, authorizing the changing in the city plan to reflect the name, authorizing the changing of the city of Waco maps, and providing for new street signs, providing a severability clause, and finding a term at the meeting at which this ordinance is passed. It is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 8-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the name change as proposed.
Thank you, Director Peters. Are there any questions for staff? There being none, I will now open a public hearing for comments. Is anyone present who'd like to speak regarding this request? Seeing no speakers, we will close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion?
Mayor, I think this conversation started with some fruitful discussions that we had with Waco SD's administration, their superintendent, and their school board. I want to appreciate Bradley Ford, appreciate Trustee Angelo Ochoa, and others in support of this, but definitely will defer to our Waco High Lion alum from the Ronald Reagan era for any motion on this matter.
Move to approve?
We have a motion. Do I hear a second? Have a motion and a second. We have some time for discussion on this. It's kind of a cool deal. And George Shirley, as an alumni, is there anything?
That's fantastic.
It is.
Can't believe it wasn't done before.
I know, it took you getting on the council to actually get Lions Way. All right, so there being no further discussion, City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano? Yes. Borderood?
Yes.
Ewing,
Yes.
Chase,
Yes.
Holmes.
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is public hearing 2025-498. Director Peters.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance amending Chapter 28 zoning, Article 4, District 31 Special District Riverway Overlay District for the city of Waco by amending the ordinance to include the definition of a cottage residential and providing reference to the most recently adopted Riverway Design Book, and amending the Riverway Design Book by adding the cottage residential product as an allowable housing type, and revising the concept plan, street layout, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for penalties, and finding a term at the meeting in which this ordinance is passed, is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 7-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the revisions as proposed. A little bit more information on the cottage residential or cottage court residential. This is a type of residential development that consists of a group of small, usually smaller than a typical single-family home, detached around a shared center courtyard or a common area or green space. And for the purpose of creating a little bit more density, but keeping the same characteristics that you would have in a single-family neighborhood. And typically, and there's a graph up on the top, they have shared parking for the site. And they are either a condo regime or can be broken out into lots. The second change is dealing with the revision to the collector street network through the development. The original plan had a loop street through the whole development, east-west along the river and then closer to Lake Shore. As the developer has been refining their plans and looking at the different housing types and pods, having that collector go through that did create some issues with one of the pods that's geared towards seniors. And then there's a drainage channel that bisects the property that for TxDOT down the Lake Shore, that collector, bridging that collector over that street could cause some issues with cost. It does not impact any of the trails or pedestrian connectivity, and both TxDOT and our traffic department reviewed the changes to it, and it has no impact on the the traffic patterns on the streets, adjacent streets and within the neighborhood.
Thank you, Clint. Are there any questions for staff? I don't have any questions, but this is an exciting development that we're working on. Long-term, this is going to take 10, 15, 20 years to get all filled in, but it's very close to downtown, and it looks very well laid out and very well planned. I'm going to open a public hearing for comments. Is anyone present who would like to speak regarding this request? We do have one speaker. Please state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to address council.
Dan Naif, Executive Vice President, Caldwell Companies. Just here to, one, thank you for considering the item in front of you today. We're very excited about the project, love working with the city and the staff. Here to answer any questions you might have, and if they're hard questions, our engineer is here as well.
Let me see if I can come up with one for Jacob. We're all excited about this project. Thank you, Dan. Anyone else present who'd like to speak regarding this request? Seeing no other speakers, we'll now close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, guys? City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano?
Yes.
Waterroot?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is public hearing 2025-499. Director Peters.
Honorable members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance revising Chapter 28 zoning of the Waco Code of Ordinances at Section 28-1 of Article 1 in general, at Section 28-132, the Division 6 amendments, supplements, changes of zoning ordinance, special permits of Article 2 administration, and at Section 28-151 of Division 7 public hearings of Article 2 administration, to make amendments related to the protests and procedures for changes to zoning regulations or district boundaries in compliance with the revisions to Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 211, per House Bill number 24 of the 89th regular legislative session, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties, providing a savings clause, providing a severability clause, providing for an effective date, and finally determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 9-0, Plan Commission did recommend these changes. The gist of these, it does create new criteria for council vote requirements on zone changes. Currently, there's some thresholds that have to be met to trigger the supermajority requirement. Those are changing. There's going to be less triggers for supermajority. There are going to be new notice requirements for public hearings on the website, and then new requirements for placements of notice signs on the property to notify of the zoning change. So you'll see those changes in the ordinance, and the state law does go into effect September 1st.
Clint, this is, along with the next two public hearings, these are all the planning services department's efforts to get our city ordinances in compliance with the brand-new state law that was just passed in the last session.
That's
Is that
correct.
right?
Yep. Two of them are effective September 1st, including this one, and then one of them is already effective.
Any other questions for Clint? And these are legislative changes that we're reacting to, as Councilmember Borderoux mentioned. And we have to vote on them here too. We can't go to Chicago. It's too late to make the thing. Okay. I'll now open a public hearing for comments. Is anyone present who'd like to speak regarding this request? Seeing no speakers, we will close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Sorry. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? There being none, City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano?
Yes.
Waterroot?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is public hearing 2025-500. Director Peters.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance revising Chapter 28 zoning of the Waco Code of Ordinances at Section 28-1 of Article 1 in general, and in Sections 28-928 of Division 3 accessory structures and uses of Article 5 supplementary district regulations to make amendments related to home occupations and compliance revisions to the Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 211 per House Bill number 2464 of the 89th regular legislative session, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for penalties, providing a saving clause, providing a severability clause, providing for effective date, and finding a term to meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 9-0, Plan Commission did recommend approval of the amendments as proposed. This ordinance change is dealing with home businesses. The new state law does say that cities cannot prohibit home businesses or require zone changes or special permits for home businesses, which our ordinance is already in compliance with that section of it. But there are some changes to our ordinance that we need to make as well to comply. One of them is that the occupation must be conducted as a secondary use to the residential dwelling in a manner in which none of the activities are visible from the street. The occupation, a business cannot be operated by a total number of employees or patrons in excess of the occupancy limits as defined by the residential dwelling unit per code. This is a pretty big change. Currently, our ordinance requires that the person operating the business live at the home, so that will no longer be required. And then the last one is dealing with a substantial increase in traffic. That's part of the state law. So we're actually going to define what a substantial increase in traffic is, which is going to be 50% increase in the daily trips generated at a residential home, as estimated by the Institute of Transportation Engineers, which is approximately 10 trips a day. So an increase of 50% of that would be prohibited.
Does this affect short-term rentals?
It does not. That's a very good point. And it's specific in state law that this does not impact the regulation of short-term rentals.
Any other questions for staff? Lynn? I'll now open a public hearing for comments. Is anyone present who'd like to speak regarding this item? Seeing no speakers, we'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Move for approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this one? City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano? Yes. Waterroot? Yes. Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is public hearing 2025-501. Director Peters.
Honorable members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance revising Chapter 28 zoning of the Code of Ordinances, Section 28.1 of Article 1 in general, and adding Section 28-970.6.1 as new Division 10 dwelling unit occupancy requirements of Article 5, supplement district regulations to make amendments to related to the occupancy of dwelling units in compliance with revisions to the Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 211 per Senate Bill number 1567 of the 89th regular legislative session, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for penalties, providing a savings clause, providing a severability clause, providing for an effective date, and finding determined that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. Plan Commission also recommended approval of this by a vote of 9-0. This is dealing with the what a dwelling unit is defined as. This actually only impacts cities with a population under 250,000 that has a university over 20,000 enrollment. So it only impacts about 6 cities in Texas, including us. But basically, it prohibits cities from regulating regulating a dwelling unit or defining a family as a maximum number of unrelated people. Right now, currently, our ordinance says you can only have up to 4 unrelated persons in a home and still be considered a single-family residence. And the state law prohibits that. So we're taking out the unrelated people person section of our ordinance. But you can have maximum density requirements related to square footage. So we added that into our ordinance.
So Clint, I guess before this went into effect, if, say, 5 college students were living in a house, that would not be considered a single-family
Correct. Yeah,
residence. But now, under this, 5 college students in a house still is.
yeah,
Or is a single-family residence.
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is an attempt to just, like, how to, I'm trying to think
So-
of what that does or doesn't do.
It really, it came out of College Station, so it's known as the frat bill. So College Station was cracking down on unrelated persons in single-family neighborhoods because of the growth in College Station around Texas A&M. It's not as big an issue in Waco, just because there's not as many students around Baylor, and typically, Baylor students are staying closer to campus with larger homes. So, but it would make it where if somebody wanted to buy a house in a single-family neighborhood and rent it out to 8 college kids, that would be permitted by right now.
I think that's helpful. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good dialogue there. Are there any other questions for Clint or staff? I'll now open a public hearing for comments. Is anyone present who'd like to speak during this request? Seeing no speakers, we'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this issue? There is no further discussion, so City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano? Yes. Waterroot? Yes. Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is the public hearing 2025-502. Director Peters.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance revising Chapter 28 zoning of the Waco Code of Ordinances, Section 28.1 of Article 1 in general, and it's Section 28.624 of Division 16, C2 regulation, or C2 Community Commercial District of Article 4, district regulations to add a definition for wholesale buying club and to allow a wholesale buying club as a special permitted use in C2 Community Commercial District. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for penalties, providing a savings clause, providing severability clause, and providing for an effective date, and finding and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. Plan Commission did recommend approval of this by a vote of 9-0. This is not related to a state bill, but something that we were looking at doing in our zoning ordinance. A lot of our newer developing commercial areas are Zone C2, and wholesale buying clubs right now in our ordinance are only allowed in C3 zoning. So we wanted to be able to allow those in those newly developed areas. So we're adding that as a special use in C2, and then also adding a definition, because currently we didn't have a definition ordinance.
Would wholesale buying club include like Sam's Club or Costco?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Any other questions for staff? I'll now open a public hearing for comments. Is anyone present who'd like to speak regarding this request? Seeing no speakers, we'll close that public hearing. Is there a motion?
We'll move for approval.
Second.
We do have a motion and we do have an approval. Any discussion? There being no further discussion, City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano? Yes. Waterroot?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider are the resolutions, and we're going to talk first about Resolution 2025-505, which has been pulled and will be voted on separately.
Yes, Mayor, I have a special motion language for that one to read. Is now the time?
Yes.
All right. In keeping with the effective date of all other rates contemplated in the fiscal year 2025-26 proposed budget, I move to amend the proposed resolution attached to resolution number 2025-505 to an effective date of January 1st, 2026, and to approve resolution number 2025-505.
Thank you for that motion. Do I hear a second to that motion?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano? Yes. Waterroot?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is the consent agenda. Consent agenda includes Resolution 2025-503 through Resolution 2025-546, except for the resolution we just heard, 2025-505. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
Move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano? Yes. Borderoud?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item on the agenda is ordinance 2025-547, City Attorney Hamilton Carroll.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Waco, Texas, authorizing the issuance of the City of Waco Combination Tax and Surplus Revenue Certificates of Obligation Series 2025, DWSRF, authorizing execution and delivery of a paying agent register agreement and an escrow agreement relating to such certificates, levying a tax and pledging surplus revenues of the water and sewer system in payment thereof, enacting other provisions relating thereto, declaring an effective date, and finding and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance comes to you on a first and final reading per Texas Government Code 1201.028.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? City Secretary Hicks, please poll the council.
Lozano? Borderoud?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is ordinance 2025-548, City Attorney Hamilton Carroll.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, amending Section 18-83 in Chapter 18 Personnel of said code, providing the number of police officers, police sergeants, police commanders, and assistant police chiefs authorized by the City Council, providing a savings clause, providing for inclusion in the code, and finding and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance comes to you, council, on first reading.
Is there a motion?
I motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being no further discussion, City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano? Yes. Borderoud?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is ordinance 2025-549, City Attorney Hamilton Carroll.
An ordinance establishing administrative departments of the City of Waco, Texas, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing a savings clause, providing for an effective date, and finding and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance comes to council on first reading.
Is there a motion?
Motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? City Secretary Hicks, please poll the council.
Lozano? Yes. Borderoud?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is ordinance 2025-550, City Attorney Hamilton Carroll.
An ordinance amending Section 24-127 of Article 6, Financial Matters of Chapter 24, Taxation and Finance of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco, Texas, to increase the city manager's authority to make purchases not exceeding $100,000 and to increase to $50,000 the expenditures that are reported quarterly to the City Council, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date, and finding and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance comes to council on first reading.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? City Secretary Hicks, will you please poll the council?
Lozano? Borderoud?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. We'll now go to the next item, which is ordinance 2025-551, City Attorney Hamilton Carroll.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, creating a planned unit development PUD, changing the zoning classification from R1B to a PUD on certain property containing approximately 10.709 acres described as 8.045 acres situated on the Thomas de la Vega Survey, Abstract 42, McLennan County, Texas, embracing all of a tract of land conveyed to Warrett Waco HH LLC in clerk's file number 2013-036-033, Official Public Records of McLennan County, Texas, OPRMCT, and described as 8.05 acres in Clerk's File number 2006-01-0613, and a 2.664 acre tract of land situated in the Thomas de la Vega Survey, Abstract 42, McLennan County, Texas, embracing all of a called 2.666 acre tract conveyed to Warwick Corsicana LLC, a Texas limited liability company, in Clerk's File number 2022-022-056 OPRMCT, property IDs 413635 and 124200, approving the concept plan for the PUD, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties, providing a savings clause, providing a severability clause, finding and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by a 6-0 vote of council on first reading on June 17th, 2025.
Do I hear a motion on second reading?
Move for approval on second reading.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? City Secretary Hicks, please poll the council.
Lozano? Yes. Borderoud?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is the hearing of visitors. During the hearing of visitors section of the agenda, we provide an opportunity for the public to present concerns or address issues that are not matters for consideration listed on the agenda. The council is unable to conduct a discussion, but will listen, ask staff to look into concerns and provide follow-up. Please provide registration information so that staff can contact you if necessary. If you have handouts, please let us know at the beginning of the presentation, and staff will distribute those comments, handouts to the council. If you're unable to approach the podium due to physical limitations, a microphone is available to be brought to you, and we do have a couple of cards here tonight. When called to the podium, please state your name and address for the record. Each speaker must limit comments to 3 minutes. If you're speaking on behalf of a group of 10 or more individuals present, please have those persons stand at the beginning of your comments. You'll be given 10 minutes to address the council. Please note that if you stand in support of a person getting 10 minutes to speak, you are forfeiting your right to speak on that item. For any person addressing the council through the use of a translator, the speaking time will be doubled to accommodate the translation services. While public discourse is very important to the council, we have to maintain order in the meeting so that all persons may be heard and city business may be conducted. If so directed by me, the Sergeant at Arms shall remove from the council meeting any person who, while addressing the city council or while attending the city council meeting, makes personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, becomes boisterous, or makes unauthorized remarks from the audience, claps your hands, stomps your feet, whistles, yells, or makes similar demonstrations. So we do have a couple of cards. The first one is from Josh Garcia. Josh Garcia, if you hung in here this long, Mr. Garcia is not with us, so we will pass on that card. We have one more card here from Austin Hall. All right, Austin, great. Again, you'll have 3 minutes once you get to the podium. Just state your name and address for the record.
Hi, council members. My name is Austin Hall. Also, hello, Mayor. My name is Austin Hall. I'm a lifetime resident of Waco. I'm here today on behalf of some of the most vulnerable people in our city, those experiencing homelessness, members of the LGBTQ+ community, and those living with mental, physical, and developmental disabilities. These issues are deeply connected and they're personal to me, so if I'm not able to finish my speech today, you all have a handout. Thank you for having me. To begin, my mother's the director of the McLennan County ARC, and through her work, I've seen firsthand how our disabled communities contribute so much to our city and how often their needs go unmet. I've also personally seen the struggles of the LGBTQ residents of our city, of every age group, young people forced out of their homes for unsafety, adults discriminated against in housing or healthcare, and transgender residents who simply want to live with dignity and safety in their own city. My significant other is one of these people. Waco's growing fast, but with growth comes responsibility, and we can't afford to keep pushing these communities to the margins. I'm here to ask, what can we do right now? First, we need to connect housing efforts with real, comprehensive, wraparound care that includes mental health services, case management, job training, transportation, and disability competent and LGBT positive healthcare. Excuse me. Second, we need to fund and expand partnerships with local nonprofits already doing this work, like the Cove, Caritas, and the ARC. These groups understand our communities. They just need the help and city support to scale their impact. Third, we must ensure affordable housing is also accessible housing. That means physically accessible units for people with disabilities and safe and welcoming spaces for all individuals and families. Fourth, the city should launch or support an LGBTQ community resource center, a physical hub where people of all ages can access support services, advocacy, and safety. Waco's LGBT community deserves to be protected, seen, and heard, not just in private spaces, but in public policy. Lastly, but equally important and tangible, the city needs to take illegal handicap parking violations more seriously. This is something I witness on a daily basis, and this problem will continue to grow if non-handicapped people believe they can park in these spots without repercussions. In closing, Waco is known for its charm and character. Public figures like Chip and Joanna Gaines have helped out the city and put it on the map. I believe that kind of influence and visibility comes with responsibility to help uplift everyone who calls Waco home. This isn't just about housing, it's about justice. It's about disability rights. It's about LGBTQ plus inclusion. It's about whether we build a city that works for everyone or only for some. Thank you all for your time. I'll keep showing up and working with you guys to build a city where everyone is seen, supported, and valued. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Very comprehensive plan there. Is there anyone else present who would like to speak during the hearing of visitors? Seeing no one, we will now close the hearing of visitors and go on to the council comments on items of community interest. Are there any announcements the council would like to make?
Mayor, I've just got some light yapping to do. I wanted to give a big shout out to all our educators, our administrators, our students, and our parents as they get ready for back to school. I know our friends, our Waco friends in China Spring are already back in school, but I know we've got our colleague Isabel Lozano is going back to a new facility in Kendrick, which is really exciting. My son's going to a new facility at Waco High. And I know there's a lot of back-to-school excitement this year, a little different from others, but keep everybody in our thoughts and prayers as they're getting back in it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's, I mean, talking about going back to school, my wife teaches as well, and everybody's kids are going back to school here. Great convocation for the WISD schools yesterday morning. It was like 2,500 people over at the convention center, and very.
Mayor had us laughing.
It was a fun, very responsive crowd. Everybody was that early in the morning too, but it was a lot of fun, and so happy and proud of Dr. Spicer and the energy that she's bringing to WISD. We'll now go to the last item, council reports and requests for scheduling future agenda items. Are there any future agenda items that the council would like to get out there? Hearing none, and there being no further business, the business session of the August 5th, 2025 meeting is adjourned at 6:53 p.m., and we will now go into.
We recess instead of adjourn.
Okay, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. We will now recess.
To executive.
Hold on, let me start over on that. There being no further business that we just said, the business session of the August 5th, 2025 will now go into recess, into the executive session, and as read into the record by the city secretary at 6:54 p.m. Thanks.
Notice is hereby given that the City Council will go into executive session in accordance with the following provisions. Personnel, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.074. City Manager Bradley Ford. Real Estate, Texas Open Meeting, Real Property, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.072. Economic Development, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.087. And Attorney Briefing, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.071. Phosphorus reducing mechanisms in watershed into Lake Waco. We are now in executive session.
Extend.
Mayor, I move that we extend the business session to 9:30 p.m. Central Time here in Waco.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? City Secretary Hicks, please poll the council.
Lozano?
Yes.
Waterroot?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye, that motion passes. And we will now recess this meeting to go into business session to go into executive session as read into the record by City Secretary Hicks.
Notice is hereby given that the city council will go into executive session for the following provisions: Personnel, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.074, City Manager Brady Ford. We are now in executive session.